Okay, so like in our last classes, like previous classes, we come to know about how to create virtual machine, virtual servers in cloud with the help
Yeah.
of Microsoft Azure.
Mm.
Now, like suppose if I created one server in the cloud, and due to
Yeah.
some problem, if this server will go down, okay, did you created any kind of redundancy? No. So here we will
Mm.
talk about that, okay, how we are going to provide high availability about our resources, and we will be talking about availability zone.
Okay.
Okay, so these, okay, so before we start on those topics, we have to know about some Azure reasons. That okay, what is Azure
Yeah.
reason? So reason, remember I have given you some examples in our previous classes that reason is the entire, like if you check entire world. So
Yeah.
Microsoft has kept all his servers and deployed its data center to different locations, right?
Mm.
So those geographical locations are known
Mm.
as region. Like US,
Okay.
central US, central Canada, India, central India, West India, South India. So those are known
Yeah.
as regions. Okay, so first
Mm.
we need to understand what is region. That the official Microsoft documentation is saying that a region is a set of data center deployed within the latency defined parameter and connected through a dedicated regional low latency network.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, means they are connected with their own networks. So you can see here, this is the entire, like this is a map. Okay, so data center location is here, data center location is here. So the location of Microsoft data centers are known as region. Simple, very simple. Okay, region have been the standard way Microsoft make Azure available somewhere in the world. So region is the location where Microsoft data centers are located. Okay, typically there are multiple Azure regions in a geographic, or you can say geopolitical political area. Like I can show you here with this map. Microsoft Azure
Yeah.
regions. So if you're coming here, see, these are the location where Microsoft data centers are located.
Mm. Baru.
Like you can see here in central India, okay, West India, South India, okay, in South Africa is also there, Brazil, okay, US you will find multiple data centers, okay, near Germany you will find multiple data centers, in UK you will find some data centers, okay. So the most common countries you will find, okay. So these are the reasons, and day by day, the Microsoft is putting their own servers to provide cloud all over the world. Like see, in Brazil you will find in the there are only two data centers, but maybe they will put some more. In China you will see that, okay, it has only in the North China, okay, North China and East China, but in the middle of the China there is no central China, okay. So here what they are talking about, that simple you for understanding this reason is that the Microsoft data center locations, okay, is known as Azure region. Now to understand this, suppose if I'm talking about, just take about central US region, how availability zone works. Okay, so normally what Microsoft says, for redundancy purpose, what Microsoft is doing, he said that okay, no problem, like suppose if I have one physical location, okay, physical location 1 means if suppose this is if I'm talking about India. So inside India, central India data center, inside data center, not entire India. So if I'm working with central India, so inside central India, how Microsoft has separated the data centers. So Microsoft divided the single region data centers in three zones, like zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. And why they have done like this, you will understand it. So now you can see in one physical location, if I'm talking about central US region, for example, central US region. So central US region is located in some place, like just take example about like ABC location. Now this ABC location is one physical location, for example. Inside that physical location, it is divided that the large central database or data center in three locations. Okay, location, physical location 1, physical location 2, and physical location 3. This one. Now you can see these are some data centers like that. Okay, in one location he kept all the data centers. Now when these physical locations are separated, so for each physical location, or you can say for each availability zone, they are using separate power, separate network, and separate cooling system. Here also separate network, separate power, network, and separate cooling system. This is power, network, and cooling system. Here also power, network, and cooling system. So for example, normally, when while creating servers, if you are coming here, suppose I am coming to Microsoft virtual machine, and now suppose if I want to create some machines. So suppose here I created one resource like US USA, and in USA I selected maybe like I want to create server 1, and here I selected central US. Okay, central US. So if I selected central US here, right? So this is the reason. Okay, the reason I selected here, but here in the availability options, okay, if I'm selecting that, okay, in availability option I'm selecting availability zone. So if I'm selecting this availability zone, so in availability zone, see, you can see here I have only three zones: zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Means the US region of the Azure US region, okay,
Let me see
has
here.
kept.
Yeah, Latvian of our area here.
Okay, okay. So here what I'm explaining about the how the your availability zone is working. See, normally availability zones are created in the Azure system for providing redundancy of your servers. Okay, so now how it is working, how they have kept, and how the structure is that, suppose this is a central US. So in central US, you see normally when we come to create something in our Azure, so we come and we select central US, right? And we just normally go next, 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 and we create servers. But in central US, if you will check that central US has three different data center location. Inside central US, the data centers are divided into three physical locations. So in which physical location my server is going to store, whether in zone 1, zone 2, or zone 3. So we don't know those things. Why? Because we are not selecting any kind of availability zone. We are just creating normal standards servers, and that's it. So if this server will fail, there will be no redundancy and no high availability options. Okay, so but maybe like uh, if I want to create some servers which can provide redundancy, load balancing, high availability, and everything, so at that time you have to select the availability options. That okay, if your one server will down, you will have another server. But how it will work? So for making and selecting those availability zone, we have to understand how availability zones are located and configured. So what, like suppose central US. So normally we select central US, but inside central US, how those servers are located. So central US is divided into three availability zones: zone 1, availability zone 2, and availability zone 3. Now in availability zone 1, Microsoft has kept separate data center, separate servers. You can say separate, separate. Okay, and for each availability zone, Microsoft has decided that okay, no problem, every physical location or availability zones will have separate power, separate network, and separate cooling system. Here also you can see that physical location 2, which is availability zone 2, which it has separate power, separate network, separate cooling. Here also separate power, network, and cooling. So maybe when I created a server and I selected availability zone, means that I want my server to be available 24 by 7. So maybe your server is here. So when you will create availability zone, automatically it will create a copy to the another availability zone, and it will create a copy to here to another availability zone as well. So suppose you can see here network, networking, cooling separate. So maybe if this physical location will down, okay, we will check the possibilities of server down, network down, and all those things. So if this entire location is down, maybe some time you'll see power cut. So power cut is entire Banjul. Power cut you will see entire Senegambia. There is no power. So if there is no power, the entire Senegambia, but you have power to other location in Gambia. So still your server will be accessible from anywhere in the world. So those things will works with availability zone. Okay, so now you can see here okay, some other features are also attached with this availability zone, so we should. Okay, now availability zone 1, or you can say physical location 1 and physical location 2, they are connected together with the fiber path, fiber link. Okay, that's why the data communications are very fast. So whenever this location is down, automatically your server will be accessible from here. Okay, so each and every location means normally the availability, like the reason, central reason, any reason means single region is divided into three zones, and all zones are connected together and exchanging the data and exchanging the information with the help of fiber link. And fiber link is very fast. So I already told you, this is the power, this is the network, and this is the cooling system, and each and every availability zones have the cooling system. See how to understand this one, let me brief it again. That suppose your company, this is Gambia, suppose for example, instead of US region we are selecting that this is Gambia. So inside Gambia, like suppose I my one Azure data center is there in Gambia. So what Azure did, Azure said that okay, no problem. In Gambia, there is one location, Banjul. One is Senegambia and one is Fazara. So let's keep one data center in Banjul, one data center in Senegambia, one data center in Fazara. Okay. And each data center will have separate power, separate network, separate cooling system. If this Banjul network will down, sometime power failure is there, fiber cut is there, maybe tsunami came, different things are there. So if maybe Banjul is not maybe everything is down in Banjul. Okay, flood came, many things, right? But still you can see that okay, no problem, Senegambia is okay. So at least you will be able to access your data from Senegambia server. Okay, so like how they works like this. Okay, normally right now, uh, whenever you are selecting any region, each region's servers or data centers have three zones: zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. So now if we are
May I ask,
yes,
does Azure create these zones
yes, yes.
by default, or you create the zones?
No, we create these. Sorry, Azure has already created these zones, but while
Okay.
creating our servers, okay, we have
Yeah.
options that do we need redundancy or not. If we will,
Yeah.
normally what we, when we used to create servers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so at that time we haven't selected any kind of availability zone, but now after learning this availability zone, now I will show you that okay, while creating servers you have to select availability zone. Means if your data center is down, at least your clients will be able to access your server.
Yeah.
Means you can create multiple copies, like here,
Yeah.
whenever you create, like normally I'm talking about that we are creating one server srv1. Okay, so if you will create this srv1 and I'm selecting availability zone, so it will come here to this zone. Okay, if I'm selecting zone 2, it will come here. If I'm selecting zone 3, it will come here. So if zone 1 is down, okay, my clients will be able to access my server from here. Like just for example, WhatsApp wants to buy some location from Azure. Okay, so it will say that okay, I want my application to be located on like all zones, to all zones of US region. So it will put here in zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. If zone 1 is down, still you can access WhatsApp from zone 2. If zone 2 is down, still you can access from zone 3. And you cannot say that entire US there is no war going, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
Yes, but still you can say that yes, sir. Maybe like in Afghanistan there was war. In other countries, sometimes there is war. So if my data
Yeah.
center is in Afghanistan, so my entire, even if I have multiple location also in the same country, and if there is a war, something going on, so it entire is down, right? But in that also there are some solutions. Okay, we will talk about these things. Now, what is availability zone?
Yes,
Okay.
Mr.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. J. But how the way you're setting them, like for example, you set the Gambia like or India or any place. Is it that that's the way Azure has their own servers all around the world like
Yes.
that,
Yes. Yes. You can see I have
according to the way we are setting?
yes, yes. See, these are the location of
Okay,
Azure
okay, okay.
servers. You can see in India we have West India, Central India, South India. In China we have, in Korea we have. Okay.
Okay, okay. I understand. Thank you.
Okay. And now you can see these are the locations. So okay, so let's understand about this availability zone. So what is saying that Azure availability zone are physically separated location within each Azure region that are tolerant to local failure. Okay, means that they can provide fault tolerance for your local failure. So first of all, you have to understand reason. So reason is what? See here. This is reason. Okay. So suppose if I'm talking about India region. Okay. So India have three region: West India, Central India, and South India. Right. So inside, maybe if I'm talking about single central India, so inside central India, if I'm talking here, let's take one snapshot. So if this is our this is your central India. Okay, so inside central India, the okay, just take South India is here. So inside South India, the data centers or the region is divided into three zones: zone 1, okay, zone 2, and zone 3. And while creating server, I selected South India. Okay, SRV1, when I created, I selected South India. Okay, so inside South India, that South India servers are separated in three physical location. Okay, location 1, location 2, location 3. Okay, and if location 1 is down, you will see that, okay, your server which you are accessing through cloud from here. Okay, so still you can access your server from zone 2. And if you are trying to access your server from physical location 3, maybe if physical location 2 is down, so still you can access your server from physical location 3. So how they are providing like these, this is the way how they are providing it. So it's saying that availability zones are physically separated location within each Azure region. And why they have done it like to provide you fault tolerance of with your means like if there is some kind of failure with your servers. So failure can range from software and hardware failure. So maybe you created one server and maybe that server can down due to software problem, due to hardware problem, network problem. Okay, maybe it's there like they, maybe on the server, like the server location where you kept, there are due to some fire problem, flood problem, earthquake, no light, any kind of problem is there with the region. So automatically you can access your data from another region, another zone. Okay. So each and every region are separated in three zones: zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Now, acceptance to failure is archived because of redundancy and local isolation of Azure service. Okay. So like if any kind of failure is there, and then redundancy will provide you to access your all informations. Okay, but the information what you are accessing with the help of this zone. Here, where is that zone? Okay, like suppose you created some kind of services. Okay, okay. So here you created one server, right? Okay. Now, if you have this, maybe initially your server what you created SRV1, it is divided into three separate location. Location 1, which is known as availability zone 1, location 2, which is known as availability zone 2, and same here availability zone 3. So archive means what? Means if this is down, it will, your services will be moved here. If this is down, your services will be moved here. Okay, it is isolated. Isolation is there. Isolated means this location is isolated from here, this location is isolated from here. Means if we can see our previous slide. Okay, see, availability zone is totally isolated from availability zone 2, and availability zone 3 is totally isolated with availability zone 1 and 2. They are not connected. They are not connected. uh, Connected, you can say that they are not using same power source. Okay, they are not using same network source, they are not using same cooling system. Means if there is network failure, so network failure will be there with the availability zone. Power failure, okay, light is not there, any kind of problem, so physical communication problem will be with locations. Now here, to ensure resiliency, a minimum of three separate availability zones are present in all availability zones. Okay, enable reason means whatever reason we are talking here. Okay, whatever reason we are talking here, like okay, US region, central India, central um, US, south in Africa, China. So these are separate reasons. So now you will say that okay, do all these reasons, like if I'm talking here, like you will say that okay, do all regions will have separate zones? Yes. All this, maybe if I'm you, maybe if I want UAE central, so UAE central will also will UAE all central is also using availability zone 1, availability zone 2, same every will Azure, this is Azure structure, or you can say Azure infrastructure or architecture, like that. Okay, so every location, or you can say every regions are using separate zones. Like say Canada is also using separate zone. Okay, China you can say is using separate 3 zones. Okay, now, and here availability, Azure availability zones are connected by high performance network link. Okay, with the help of which I told you, they are using fiber links. Okay, fiber links. Now they help your data stay synchronized and accessible through uh, other zones if there is any kind of problems. And what type of problem? You can say that okay, normally power cut, normally your maybe there will be cooling problem, and due to heat and every other things, maybe your server will is hanging, and after hanging your server will start restarting. Okay, so any kind of problems can come in the network, or maybe network is down. Okay, so normally availability zones are designed so that if one zone is affected, okay, regional services capacity and high availabilities are supported by the remaining 2 zones, what we are talking from since these 2 slides. Okay, that if any zone is not working, no problem, your data, your services will be available via another zones. So suppose need of high availability. See, we with the first structure you have to understand. Suppose this is the internet user wanted to access your server. But how you have created this server? Suppose this is a single physical server. See, this is a single physical server. Okay. And inside physical server, I created server 1, server 2, and server 3. Fine. Now this client is accessing it. Fine. Everything is going on. There we have, this is a load balancer. So when this client is coming here to internet, okay, internet is throwing the client information to load balancer. Load balancer is doing round robin load balancing, is one data here, one user information here, second user in third user information to the third server. If other user will come, same, if the one user can come here, one user. So this is the way how load balancing works. Okay, now what happened? Okay, you created this is your VM1. Fine. And you kept one your domain name abc.com. It's the same here, it's same here also. And this is your one physical location, physical server. Now for example, if you're this physical server, okay, before physical server we could say that okay, if this client was accessing your server, your website abc.com, and if this server is down, for example, no problem, your client is accessing information from the another server, right? No, and you can say okay sir, let's down this one. Okay, no problem, still your client can access data from v like the server 3. Okay, but now your servers are okay. Inside servers are okay. You can say, take example here. Okay, your servers are okay, fine. It is working. It is working. It is working. Everything is working fine. Users from internet, they are accessing the servers. Now what happened? Due to some problem, this physical server goes down. So when a physical server has gone down, your VM1, VM2, VM3, or your server, why we are talking always saying VM, because it is not physically stored at your location. It is somewhere else, right? So logically we are accessing it. That's why we say as a virtual machine we go. Okay. So those virtual machines are inside, they were inside one physical server, and that physical server is down. So when that physical server is down, so you won't be able to access server 1, server 2, server 3. Means entire is down for you. Okay, everything is down. Even this is also down, right? Now what solution you are thinking? The solution you are thinking that instead of putting all VMs in a single physical server. Okay, Mamadu, you can unmute yourself because I need one student to interact with my questions. Okay, anyone student, or maybe Mustafa can unmute, because here we need some interaction because there will be some small questions. I'm asking that, if, see, we are engineer and
Yeah.
we want to host some server, right? So
Yes.
if we are hosting
Yeah, yeah.
some server in our organization, okay,
Yeah.
so if I will host single server, so
Okay.
do we have any kind of redundancy if we have only single server?
No.
No. So you said, okay, no problem. For redundancy and for high availability, for load
Yeah.
balancing, let's put
Mm.
server 1, server 2, server 3. So
Mm.
if any user from internet, if they are trying to access our server, okay,
Yeah.
and so the data is coming to internet is sending to load balancer, and load balancer is sending to server 1,
So.
server
Yeah.
2, or server 3, depending on the packet. If server 1 packet is same like a round robin, if user
Yeah.
1 is sending, okay, so user 1 will come to server 1, user 2 will come to server 2, server 3, and user 4 will come again to server 1, same like that. Okay,
Okay.
now you said, okay, fine, everything is working fine. Now we
Yeah.
have load balancing also, redundancy also. How load balancing? Load balancing, your load balancer is load balancing the data and query, and you'll say redundancy if server 1 will go down.
Yeah.
Okay, if server 1 will go down, what will happen? Automatically, your you other users from internet, they don't know that server 1 is down, because when they will come to access data, load balancer will send here, and yes, you will get
Send
the
them to
information
South.
from abc.com. So you are, yes, you are getting abc, you will be happy. But
Mm.
what will happen?
Mm.
The all servers are hosted on one physical server, single physical server.
Mm.
Okay, same like this. Let me show you my VMware. See, you can see here, I have multiple servers right here. Okay,
Mm.
and these all servers are hosted with single my laptop, right? And if my
Okay.
laptop will go down, if this physical server will go down, means
Mm.
your server 1 is also down, your server 2 is also down, your server 3 is also down.
Okay.
And when this user will try to access, you will, everything is down. Okay, so user from internet, they won't be able to access your servers. Okay,
Mm.
so you will say, okay, this solution is fail, right? So you will look for another solution. So let's talk about this availability solution 2. Okay, and now you tell me
Mm.
which one is best. See, in some condition, like you can say 10%, this solution is also okay, right? 10%, this solution is
Mm.
also okay. That okay, you create, maybe you have one physical server, inside one physical server you hosted three servers. So initially your network was correct, right? But when the net, some physical server has gone down, then you can say it is a problem. But at least for 1-2%, this situation, this solution was also correct for providing redundancy and load balancing. Now when the physical server fail, you said okay, no, 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 that is not working, let's talk about another solution. Okay, so what you did, you said okay, now what you said, okay, let's make server 1 put two separate physical server 2 second physical server, and server 3 to third physical server.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
now, and all these physical server will be hosted in a single data center. So now see,
Okay.
no problem. If user is trying to access, came to load balancer is sharing here. Fine, 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 no problem. You will be happy, right? Now maybe if this, you said now earlier in our first example, or maybe here, if this physical server will go down, right? No problem, you
Mm.
can access from here. If this will go down, you can access from here, right? No
Mm.
problem. But what I am saying, if this data center will fail,
Mm.
the entire data center is failed. So the what is the primary reason of data center failure? Sometime normally sometimes is a power failure. Data center
Yeah.
fail is not power failure, means maybe there is no power. Sometime,
Yeah.
sometime in Gambia also you can see there is no power for 24 hours. Not entire
Yeah.
Gambia. Like sometime you will say in Fazara there is no light for 24 hours, or maybe like 10 hours you will see no light. Even when I was there, I have seen these problems many times.
Even right now, life is up in some areas.
Yes, and you'll see that fiber is down. There was no internet for 24 hours as.
Mm.
Yes. So if these type of problems will come, right?
Mm.
So these are the primary reasons. Normally, what reasons is there? Like power failure. Okay. Then you can say maybe network is down, cable disconnected, and third is cooling failure or overheating. Okay. Now, so due to these problems, your data center is down. So if your data center is down, right? So your your physical is down. Your physically down means your logical is also down, means again this user is not able to access. Then you will say okay, no problem. First, second was better than first, but second is also not best. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
So now you look for best solution. If the okay, so your entire data center fail and everything is failed. So now you are looking for best solution.
Mm.
Okay, so now let's look for the best solution. Okay, so let's look about this data center, how data centers look like. Okay, see, these are some data center examples. Like, see, inside
Yeah.
data center, I think you have seen these data centers, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is data center one, this is data center two, like that. Okay, so if this
Mm.
data center is failed, so inside all machines, what you have machines here, these machines, so all machines will fail. So like all
Mm.
physical machines will fail.
Mm.
Okay, now you look for the third solution, and third solution is availability zone. How actually availability zone works.
Mm.
Okay, now you will say that, see, with the help of availability zone, you can enable protection of your
So,
resources against data center failure. Okay, so if somebody will ask from you that okay, what is availability zone? So you can say
mm.
that availability zone, okay, is used to protect
Mm.
your data center
Resort
failure.
against
Yeah,
data
resource
center
against data
failure.
center failure. Simple, very
Yeah.
simple. Okay,
Mm.
now see, if user is trying to access your data, it will come to internet, load balancer, and now see how it is working. it will send to see this. Now your data center and everything is divided into multiple regions. See, your
Region,
one
yeah.
data, your your one server is in US region, and second
Mm,
server is in UK region,
UK.
and third server is in India region.
Okay.
Okay. Now inside US, this is data center 1. Inside data
Mm,
center, this is physical server 1. Inside physical server, this is your virtual machine, and inside virtual machine, this is your server.
mm,
Now you cannot say that okay sir, virtual machine is down, no problem, you can access from here. Now you cannot say that okay, physical machine is down. Okay, if physical machine is down, now you cannot say that okay, if physical machine is down, your data center is down. But you cannot say that entire US is region is down. Okay, no problem, I can say okay, entire US is down, but still UK
yeah.
region is running, so you can access your data from UK region. Okay,
Okay.
and you cannot say that okay, in US also there is light problem, network problem, in UK
Mm,
also light problem, network problem. So okay, no problem, access from India. But you cannot say that entire world there is no light, no power.
no,
Okay,
no.
yes, so there will be no possibilities like this. So at
Yes.
any cost you can access data.
Okay.
Okay, so this is this
Yes,
ability.
Mr. J.
Yes,
So this is only possible with Azure, but
yes,
not in physical uh, sense, right?
yes, yes. So normally how they are
Yeah,
doing it.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yes. So what normally they
Yeah.
do, if we are talking about even single US region also, so normally what they do, they divide these physical servers and data centers into three locations. Same
Mm, good.
like suppose if we are taking example of Gambia, when you are in Gambia, suppose
Mm,
Azure want to open one region in Gambia. So
mm,
Microsoft will say that okay, in Gambia, which location? So you will say okay, let's put in Banjul. Okay,
mm,
now, so Azure will say no problem. If I'm selecting Gambia,
mm.
wait just a second. So Azure will say that okay, no problem. If I'm selecting Gambia, okay. So Gambia has three location. One is Banjul, okay. Second one is Senegambia, okay, and second one is Fazara, for example. Fazara. Okay. So now here Azure will say that okay, I'm going to create one data center in Banjul. I'm going to create one data center in Senegambia, and I'm going to create one data center in Fazara. This is data center like the data center what we have seen here. Okay,
Yeah.
this data center. Okay, okay. Now
Yeah. So, Mr. J.
yes,
Yeah. So this is possible when you connect them wirelessly, or they use cables,
fiber cable,
underground cables to run them. Okay,
fiber.
fiber. Oh, okay. Now
Okay,
I get it.
yes. Now this is Gambia country. In Gambia, the data center is located into like data center 1. Okay, then data center 2, and this is data center 3. Okay, so these all physical separated locations will be known as availability zone 1. Okay, this is also known as availability zone 2, and this is known as availability zone 3. And inside this data center you will find a small physical servers. Okay, I hope you have seen some rack servers. Have you seen rack servers?
Yes, sir.
Yes, let me show you. HP blade server. Okay, servers like this, see these are servers, smallest. It is very, you see this, see how they are, these are servers. Okay, So in data centers, you can see this server. See, this is physical server 1, physical server 2, physical server 3, like that. Okay. Let me copy this image and put it here. Okay. So this is your data center. Inside data center, you can see here you have multiple physical servers. So see, this is your one physical server, this is second physical server, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, eight, nine, 10, like that. Okay. So these are your physical servers. So you will find these physical servers in each data centers, like that. Okay. So now if you are the user in Gambia and you wanted to create something, okay, maybe you are the user here, okay, and you access the, you want to create some server, okay, so maybe you want to create in Gambia, so you will come to Gambia and you will select, okay, do you want to create your server in data center 1 or zone 1? Okay, you okay, so you, if you select zone 1, right? Okay, so when you are selecting zone 1, so your data will, your server will be kept on physical server 1, physical server 2, physical server 3, anywhere, but zone 1 will make sure that your data will have some redundancy. Okay, now but if I'm coming here, let me come here, see here, while selecting the availability zone, okay, here we have multiple options. See here, availability zone, see, physically separated your resource within a single Azure region. Okay, now if you will talk, first we will talk about availability zone, then we will talk about availability set. Okay, so first we are talking about zones. So zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. So you will say that, okay, you have to see these zones are already there in Azure. Okay, but when you want to host your server, okay, so you have to host your server to multiple locations. Okay, whether you want automatically to be separated or you want to create your servers to multiple locations, so for redundancy. Okay, so you will say, no, I want to create one server, server 1 here to data center 1. I want to create my second server to data center 2, and I want to create my third server to data center 3. So if this server will, data center will go down, no problem, my clients can access from here, my clients can access from here. Okay. Okay, so what is the feature of this availability zone? So first feature is that in any Azure region, minimum 3 availability zones are allowed. So you cannot create multiple zones, and zones are already predefined, that we means like we as a client, okay, we cannot create zones. We create our server inside zone. So he's saying that there are only 3 zones nowadays. Maybe in future they can increase, but right now each region 3 zones. Availability zones are collection of data center, what we have seen. Okay, see here, so it's a collection of data centers. All availability zones under single region were hosted in 3 different physical locations. So availability zones are separated in 3 physical separate locations, like location 1, location 2, location 3, or you can say zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Now for data synchronization, availability zones use diverse fiber path for data synchronization from zone 1 to zone 2, zone 2 to zone 3. They are using some fiber dedicated fiber path. Okay, That's why it is saying diverse fiber path means no one, you will find only Microsoft data centers is data center data is crossing with the help of that fiber. No public data you will find there. Okay, so that's why there's a Microsoft private connection, you can say, or lease connection between the data centers. So Microsoft Azure has ensured that for each availability zones, power, network, and cooling system will be separated. Okay, so it is designed separately for them. Okay, and if one physical location is down, okay, so you can access data from second physical location. That's why if one availability zone, okay, like if it will get down, it won't impact other availability zone data centers. So I gave you here example that you cannot say that okay sir, Banjul network is down, Banjul power is down. So okay, no problem. Senegambia power is okay, or network will be fine. Okay, Fazara is okay. You cannot say that sir entire country is okay down. Okay, so if entire country is down, also there is some solution, but we will see later also. So let's have again the look on this availability zone set. So as we these availability zones are separated in three locations, like you can say the region is separated in three location: availability zone 1, availability zone 2, and as I told you that they are connected with diverse fiber path. Okay, and this is our load balancer. So Azure use load balancer. Okay, it's not, you see why they are using load balancer, that if any user is coming from outside to access our server, okay, so this load balancer is connected with all the availability zones. Okay, and like suppose if this is the client from internet, they came to internet, and internet will the query will come to data center, and then data center will sorry data center I'm saying load balancer, and then load balancer will say that okay, maybe you can go to availability zone 1. Okay, maybe if uh, you can go to availability zone 2, maybe, or maybe 3, like that. It will separate it. If this is down, no problem, you can go here. If this is down, you can all the user, see here I'm giving you single user example, but from internet, if maybe like we are talking about YouTube, so here maybe we have multiple users. Okay, maybe if this user is trying to access, so this user will come zone 1. If this user is coming, it will come zone 2, zone 3, like that. Okay, it's a round robin function, first come first serve, like that. Okay, but if all zones are working, your data will be separated as a load balancer means. Okay, but if all like two zone is down, so all data will be diverse to single zone. Okay, like here I have give you example that if availability zone 1 is down, no problem, your entire data will come to physical location like availability zone 2 and availability zone 3. If even zone 3 is also down, no problem, you have zone 2. So your users or your client, or you can say the YouTube clients, are still accessing YouTube, but we are not bothering that. uh, do you say that okay, I want to access the YouTube server which is in US or which is in UK? You say that yes, I want to access YouTube, that's it. It doesn't, it's not relating to you that okay, you can select your uh, destination server location also. You want US, sorry, you want YouTube, you are accessing YouTube, that's it. But from you, where you are accessing, which location is that, okay, which server is the like you are accessing, okay, from where you are accessing, this doesn't like relate to you or relate to clients. Okay, they need server, they are accessing server, that's it. Okay, So now here when we are talking about some Azure availability zone, so Azure availability zone is saying that maybe when we are talking about this cloud services and all those things, okay, so normally reasons, okay, the reasons are divided into three separate locations. What we are talking: availability zone 1, availability zone 2, and availability zone 3. Okay, but by default right now Azure is only providing three zones location. Azure have only three right now, but maybe in future they can have more than three. But right now they have three only. So if you want, I can show you again here. See, if I'm talking about central US location, so in central US location, see here Azure. If I'm selecting availability zone, okay. So availability zone, it has only three zones: zone one, zone two, zone three. Okay. So maybe if I'm creating this server one to zone one. Okay, again I will create one server with zone 2. Again I will create one server with zone 3. Means your your server will be on zone 1 as well as zone 2 as well as zone 3. Means if one zone is failed, no problem, your clients can access your server from zone 2, can access. If zone 2 is down, your the clients of your organization can access the data from zone 3. And if all zones are working, so at that time load balancing will work. Okay, and if single zone will fail, then you will have redundancy also. So this availability zone is providing both features to you. Okay, load balancing as well as redundancy. So what are the availability zone services? Okay, so if you are talking about availability zone services, okay, so he's saying that availability zones, okay, Azure availability zones enable services are designed to provide the right level of, okay, resiliency and flexibility. You can say it provide redundancy and flexibility as well. That, see, zones, we do not create zones. Okay, zones are already predefined. So we zones is what? It's a one kind of service. See, if you will see that, let maybe like if I want to create one server. Okay, let me create one server without zone. So I want to create one server. I selected central India, no problem. Let me come to select, okay, central India. I selected central India. So here I'm not selecting any kind of zone. No infrastructure redundancy required for this one. Means I'm not selecting any kind of redundancy and load balancing. Normal, I selected here server. Okay, and let's come down to select username. I'm creating IT1. Password, I'm creating normal what we use. Okay, next, in networking I will keep default, no problem. I'm just creating one server to show you. So here what I selected, I just selected one server. Okay, and this server is ready now. So here while creating this server, if you're talking, see here I selected, suppose I selected central India. Okay, central India is divided into three locations. Okay, like availability zone 1, availability zone 2, and availability zone 3. But while creating this server, what right now what I have created, I did not selected any redundancy. Means if that server will down, okay, you cannot recover it. There is no any option to means to have the data or any kind of information back to the client, because see you created server on cloud, right? And why you created server on cloud? So your clients can access those servers, right? So if that server is down, these clients will not be able to access that server. But if I'm creating one server with different process, okay, let me come to home again. If I'm creating servers with different process and the process is selecting this kind of availability zones, okay, let me select the resource. Virtual machine name is srv2. Okay, and now here if I'm selecting availability zone, so he's saying that okay, where you want to create, in zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Okay, so if I'm creating this server zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, okay, so your server will be on zone 2, okay, zone 1, and whatever services is there related to zone 1, you will get those services. Okay, but always keep in mind that we have to understand these things to understand zone 1. See, zone 1 is what? Same this example. Understand this one very, okay. This is, you can say, this is the example of zone 1, the first example. Okay, that if I'm creating servers on a single zone, okay, so it will keep okay, no, single zone example is this one, sorry, the second example, this second example. This is my data center. So when I'm selecting single zone, so my server will be separated to physical server 1, my server will be separated to physical server 2, my server will be separated to physical server 3. Okay, but if entire zone 1 is down, okay, maybe this zone 1 is down. Okay, so if this zone 1 is down, okay, maybe due to some problem this is down. Okay, so the client, this user, when this user was trying to access, maybe if this user will try to access, what will happen, it will come here and it will see that oh, your entire data is down. So you will get response back here, unreachable. Okay, and maybe you are the client of some bank, you will say, ah, this bank's server is not working, right? So no one is recommending you to select only single zone for single server. So he's saying that no problem, what you do, come to solution number 3. Solution number 3 is saying that select zone 1 for one server, zone 2 for second server, okay, zone 3 for third server. So if user is trying to access that server, it will come to load balancer. Load balancer will send to server 1, zone 1. If entire zone is down, no problem, your data can be accessed from zone 2, your data can be accessed from zone 3, like that. So this what they are talking here, okay, with the zone availability some benefits. Okay, now they can be configured in two ways. Means zone can be configured in two ways. Okay, zonal and zone redundant. Now what is zonal? Zonal with instance pinned to specific zone. Okay. Um, Now with zonal, Azure administrator define the availability zone manually within and pin to within the region. Means select where I want to create. Example, zonal is used for virtual machine and disk. Okay, zonal means what we are creating. Let me create and show you the zonal services. Maybe I want to create one zonal services. Okay, in central India, I am selecting availability zone, but zone 1. So this I selected that yes, I want to create one server to a specific zone. Here I selected the zone. selected the physical location, selected the data center, everything. Okay, and in the second option it is saying that in zone redundant. Okay, now zone redundant is with automatic replication across zones, means you do not have to select. Okay, you do not have to select that one, and I will show you this both example. Okay, so let me show you the zonal example, and then I will show you the zone redundant example. Okay, with practical session. So maybe I want to create one server 2 with zone. Okay, then I will show you zone redundant. This is the zonal practical. The availability zone is services is divided into two. One is zonal and second one is zone redundant. Zonal is that while creating server you can select that yes, I want to create my server to this zone, to this data center. Okay, so I selected zone 1. Okay, normal standard, like that. Okay, here I can come username IT2. Can select the less resource, networking. So I created this server with the help of zonal services. So zonal services, I told you it, zonal services of availability zone can be used only for virtual machine creation. Okay, and disk creation. But now I will show you with the zone redundant with the help while creating a storage account. Okay, servers is in process. Okay, so my second server is ready. Okay, you can see here the second server is available, means it is located to availability zone 1. But if I'm talking about my server 1, if I'm coming to server 1, for him the location is not predefined. Okay, the location is central India, but in central India where it is located, on which physical server, it's not defined. But if I'm coming to my SRV2 information, you will find here that yes, it is located in central India zone 1. Okay, so information is there. But now if I want, see, this is the like I selected zone 1, right? So this is the like zonal process. Okay, now we are talking about zone redundant. So if I'm coming to home, there is some kind of a storage account, means different services, like different Azure services. So whenever you want to create some kind of server and some kind of disk which will be attached with that server, so those options will, you have to select manually where you want to create. So that is zonal. But where some process is automatic, means I'm just creating my storage account, or maybe I'm just creating something, but I don't know where it will be stored, but I want redundancy, simple. Okay, so that is your zonal, uh, zone redundant, sorry. So come to a storage account, create. Same process, I want to select the resource group like USA. Storage account name, I will say that, okay, J account. Reason, I want to select anyone, Central, East US, Central India, wherever you want, you can select. Okay, Central India, South India. Okay, Central US. Okay. Now here you in the zone redundant, you have two options. Okay, when we are talking, oh sorry, in redundancy. Okay, come here. See here in redundancy, you have uh, one option, two option, three, four option. See the first option is locally redundant storage, LRS. LRS means it will be stored to the local server, okay, and it will be separated to other servers in the local data center. Geo redundant storage, GRS will say that immediate, okay, sorry, intermediate options with failover capabilities will be shared with the secondary reason. Means your one data will be on reason one, and second data will be shared with the another reason. Okay, geo redundant. Here is saying that, okay, zone redundant. Okay, so if I will select zone redundant, so zone redundant will say that, okay, that intermediate option with protection against data center level failure, okay, recommended for high availability scenario. Okay, here is your data backup, here is your high availability, means uh, your data will be available here, but here you can access your data 24 by 7. Okay, zone redundant means it will be divided with the zones. Here it will be divided with this secondary reason, means if I'm keeping data, if I'm selecting here central US, okay, and if I'm selecting this geo redundant, okay, and if central US data server is down, so of no problem, I can access data from south central, okay, south US or maybe north US something, or east US. Okay, so what here we are talking, see, zone redundant is automatic. Zonal we can select while creating servers, something like that. Okay, now with zonal redundant, Azure will automatically replicate the resource to all availability zones, okay, within the region. So you cannot select, okay, I want zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, okay. In zone redundant, automatically Azure will select where they want to put your information. Okay. Now let's talk about zone redundant. Suppose I want to create one storage, okay. So we have zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, okay. And already we know that all zones are connected with diverse hyperpath.
Study.
Yes,
Do you have to create a server in every zone?
yes,
Okay, you have to create your
yes,
server in
yes,
every zone, in all
yes,
the three zones.
yes. If we are selecting this one, see, if we are selecting this zonal process,
You-
in
Okay.
zonal process,
Mm,
okay, you have to create servers in each zone.
okay.
Okay, so if zone 1 is down, your clients, okay, like
Okay.
your clients can access your server from zone 2. If zone 2 is down, your clients can access data from zone 3. But in zonal redundant, it is automatic. You do not have to, you just have to create a single server, and automatically it will be replicated to all the zones. Zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, it will be replicated automatically. Okay, but always keep in mind, the availability zone services is divided into two part, or you can say two type. Okay, so if I want to create some kind of server, so in server, okay, see here, virtual machine and disk, we have to always use zonal, but some storage account, some other kind of features, we have to select zone redundant. We cannot, like suppose while creating virtual machine, we cannot select zone redundant. Okay, So here I'm taking example of a storage. Suppose I want to create a storage and all the availability zones are connected with diverse fiber path. And see here, when I created a storage, I just selected zero redundant. So automatically it, if I normally they have zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. So automatically Azure will put your storage to physical location like zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 like that. Okay. And if zone 1 is down, no problem. Okay. Even zone 3 is also down. Okay. Still your clients can come to internet and try to access your storage. Yes, your storage will be available. Okay. So this comes under only in zone redundant. Okay. Now see, remember I gave you example. Configure server with the zonal services. Okay. This was the lab of zone redundant here. See, this is the lab of zone redundant. This one. Okay. So normally, if you want to create, click next, advanced, next, next, blob. Okay, fine. Okay, and just come to create. So your storage account is created, but you don't know that where it has kept. Okay, see, deployment is in process. Your account is ready now. See, okay. Now when we configure zonal, see when we want to create a machine. So normally when we select our subscription, then we select our location, the okay sorry, resource group like container, okay, like folder. Okay, and then we select our virtual machine name, then we select the region where we are selecting. Inside region we are selecting availability zone. In availability zone we are selecting that okay, it will be in our availability zone 1. Okay, then we select the standard security system, like that is default with Microsoft Azure. Okay, now we selected operating system and next, next, finish. Okay, now zonal option. While creating zonal options, okay, you'll have three options. One is availability zone, like physically separate your resources within an Azure region. If we are coming here, virtual machine scale set, okay, this is distributed VMs across zones and fault domains, okay, in scale. Okay, this I will show you. Okay, what is fault domain and what is distributed VMs across zones. Okay, now availability set, okay, that is automatically distributed your VMs across multiple fault domain. So this we will understand this fault domain, okay, when we will understand about availability set. Okay, so where we see these options, where we get these options, I can show you. Suppose if I want to create some virtual machine, so let me come here. Suppose I want to create one virtual machine. Let me select the resource. Uh, see here, see, we have three options. See, availability zone. See, physically separate your resource within an Azure region. Okay, see here, virtual machine scale set, distributed VMs, and here automatically distribute VMs across multiple fault domain. Okay, so these all options we will understand. We will talk about availability set in our next classes. Okay, now this how to configure zone redundant. So we have seen that how to configure a storage account. See, a storage account is same like our Google Drive. So normally Google Drive is giving you 15 GB, right? But if you are talking about Azure, so let's see how much Azure has given me. I think it's, normally you get a storage account, I think around uh, 1 TB or 5 TB something. Okay, Okay, yes, 5 terabyte. Okay, so this is your storage account. Now if you want you to keep data in that, okay, keep your data. So we have seen this lab already in our demo session, but I'll show you. This is in our session. Okay, so how we can access this now. Normally, when I share some data to you with Google Drive, so Google Drive is giving you 15 GB, but if you have this Azure account, you can access this storage account. You can share files, you can share the space with some other people, and they can access it with the link. Okay, okay, so zone redundant. Okay, see, I told you that we have four options. One is locally redundant storage, LRS. Okay, now so it will store your all information or all your servers, okay, to the local server, to a single server, you can say. Geo redundant, okay, it used to store the data of or your storage account to like it like it separate your data or your account with multiple reasons, like primary reason, secondary reason, sub secondary reason, like that. Okay, like it will share your uh, storage account with multiple locations, you can say. Zone redundant, zone redundant means automatically it will separate your data with data centers, like zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. So if data center 1 is failed, no problem, your data is to your data center 2. Okay, you can access from data center 3, like that. Okay, so means zero redundant storage will help you only to recover from data center failure. Okay, now here it is talking about geo zone redundant storage. Okay, GZRS. Okay, this include the information of GRS also. GRS means geo and zone. Combination of this I want to use in the fourth one. Okay. Now it is recommended for critical data. Means if your data is very, very, very much important, then you should select this one. Okay. Means you select this. Okay, multiple redundancy features. Okay, you can select it. Means normally we have this local server. This is primary and secondary, they will divide. Okay, and then this is, they will divide in zones also. They will separate your data automatically to zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. No need to select anything. Okay, so see, in Azure there are few like lessons which will be like fully theoretical. Okay, some is related to practical. So after, once we will complete our theory part of zone, like availability zone and availability set, then we will see how to create servers inside availability zones. Normally we have seen one practical, and we will see how to access, and we will see some other benefits as well. Okay, so maybe tomorrow we will complete our this lesson. Okay, let me come to the lesson. Okay, tomorrow we will complete high availability through availability set. Okay, today we completed high availability zone. Okay, and after that, see here, if you'll see the lesson number 11, it is saying that implementation of availability set. Okay, now the difference between availability zone and availability set. So first we have to understand the services, then we can define, okay, this is different, this is different. Okay,